So today I decided to finally watch this lovely show. I had it on my request list, so it was only a matter of time before I was forced to watch it. Well, when this show premiered, a lot of people made videos saying that it's the worst show that Nickelodeon ever made. So I was expecting a horrible show and I watched one episode. Those people that have been watching my videos for a while know that I normally watch at least 3 episodes before I say my opinion on a TV show. Except if one episode sucked so much that I refused to watch more. Yeah, so this show is exactly what I expected. A freaking disaster. So the episode I watched is The Night of the Living Bread. If you know which movie is referenced in the title, then you have had contact with something that is actually good. So you really shouldn't be watching Breadwinners, unless you get a request. It was a Halloween episode. I'm not going to go into much detail since the plot is paper thin. So the main characters are two ducks that deliver bread. Dear God, the character designs in American cartoons are getting worse with every year. Anyway, for the first time, the guy who makes bread allows the two ducks to make their own bread, and he shows them his magic ingredient, which makes his bread irresistible. So far, this episode really reminded me of regular show. You have two bodies, one is tall and dumb, and the other one is short, about 20 times dumber than the taller one, and by far the most annoying character of the show. So what exactly would those brain-dead slackers from regular show do in this situation? I'd say that they would add way too much of the ingredient and everybody that would eat the bread would become addicted to it. To the point that they would start chasing the main characters to get more bread. Wait, this is a Halloween episode with a reference to zombies. So scratch that last part. Everyone who eats the bread becomes a bread zombie. I actually wrote this down when I watched this episode. I stopped the video, I wrote this down, and then I continued watching the episode. And oh my god, I was completely right. Totally didn't see that coming. So yeah, everyone becomes a bread zombie. The bread master makes bread with the antidote and everyone is cured. And somehow they all get their body parts back. It's kind of ridiculous that they allowed this and at the same time they censor certain animes when they are dubbed because they are too violent or not suitable for children. But then they allow a show where characters become zombies and you actually see their lower parts getting ripped off. They are losing their. I think one character lost his arm, and you could see the brain of another one. Yeah, hypocrisy at its finest. Okay, then the two ducks are from now on only allowed to deliver bread, and they can no longer make their own bread. And the shorter duck eats the last piece of the bread he baked and becomes a zombie. Yeah. So yeah, this show is basically the bastard child of regular show and Uncle Grandpa. And SpongeBob also got involved into it. Yes, it's basically those three shows combined, with regular show taking the most part. The characters are annoying, dumb, and simply a cliché. In the last 2 years, there have been many shows in which two best friends are the main characters, and it's almost always like the same thing. One is tall and tolerable, and the shorter one is a pain in the ass. And they always do something really stupid that is really predictable, and in the end everybody gets in trouble. And there are lots of shows that have this kind of story, and it's getting repetitive. I don't remember the names of the two ducks because the names were really weird and I simply don't care looking them up, since I'm not going to watch the show again. As I said, the plot of the episode was paper thin, and it was just basically random events that happened and they just simply combined them together. Yes. It was full of toilet humor and jokes about butts and horrible references. At one part, the zombies actually started dancing, and the show made a reference to Michael Jackson's Thriller, in which the dog sang a song about shaking your butt. Why? Just why? I think that they mentioned the word butt at least 100 times in that episode. It's like every 20 seconds somebody says the word butt. But the worst thing about this show is that it never shuts up. All the time there is something. If the characters don't yell at each other, then there's annoying background music. And if that isn't the case, then there are horrible songs which are so bad that I simply don't get it how anyone could listen to this. Also, there is also the animation which sucks and the character designs which are beyond dreadful. And yes, I can say that I have been watching animated shows for my whole life. Not only that, but a lot of shows back in the day had way lower budgets and the people who made them still tried their best, so I don't see why this show has to be like this. Then again, great animation would be a waste of time and money for a show like this. Then again, I think their horrible animations probably cost the same, so I don't know anymore. So yeah, this show sucks. I'll give it a 0 out of 5 and I will never watch it again. But you know one thing? It's not the worst show from Nickelodeon. I mean, it's just one of those brain dead shows where everything is just stupid for the sake of being stupid. And there have been a lot of those shows recently in the last 8 years or so. So I don't see what's the big deal. It's like 3 or 4 of those shows premiere every year, so the hell. And you know what is really sad? This show has high ratings, and because of that it will have a second season. You know, when I was a kid, shows like this had only one season, then they were cancelled, and a year later nobody remembered them anymore. Have you ever heard of a show called The Brothers Flub? My subscribers probably have heard of it since I already mentioned it in one of my previous videos. It's from the 90s, it was shown on Nickelodeon, and it's one of the worst cartoons ever. Go watch an episode online, you could find it. I'm almost 100% sure that there's even one episode, at least one episode on YouTube. So watch the episode and you will see that it has a lot of similarities to Breadwinners. And I simply don't get it why that show failed so miserably, even though it's basically the same thing as Breadwinners. So either two things happened. The kids these days love their shows, or basically the kind of humor that the kids in the 90s hated, or the standards have dropped so low that what was back then a guaranteed flop could become a hit today. I don't know. So that's basically it. Expect a few more videos like this in the future because I'm going to review certain animated shows and it will be something like this. The videos won't be too long, I'm just going to say what I think about them and won't make a long video. And in the end I'm going to give my rating, just like I did with this show. So let's hope that the next show won't be a 0. Bye.